Patti Adkins has been missing ever since the moment she climbed into the bed of her secret lover's pickup truck.
When you think about how happy she was in that moment, about what she thought she was going into, and then you juxtapose that with what likely happened to her.
That's hard. That's really hard because I do think she was sincerely happy.
The family had Patti declared legally dead. They now speak of her in the past tense.
She had an infectious laugh, and that's probably what I miss most about her, is because I can't remember the sound of her laugh anymore. It's gone. I can see her face. I can picture her smile. I think I've lost the sound of her laugh, and I miss that.
Patti's sisters, her daughter McKaylee, the Union County Sheriff, and the prosecutor all believe her married boyfriend possibly had something to do with her disappearance.
Is this a homicide or a missing persons case?
This is a homicide case.
How did it change from missing persons to homicide?
Patti Adkins has been gone for a substantial period of time. The fact that she had a daughter, the fact that she had appointments, the fact that she had pets and boarded those pets, the fact that she was in line for a promotion at her work. That doesn't appear to be a person that would just disappear.
And the boyfriend is the only person of interest.
So you believe Patti was murdered?
Until we learn otherwise, yes. That's how we're looking at the case.
Do you think he killed her?
I believe he had something to do with it. We're still looking for that missing piece in the puzzle that will help make this case.
So to try and find that elusive puzzle piece, investigators searched the boyfriend's property using cadaver dogs.
He voluntarily gave consent. The cadaver dog did indicate in an area outside of a barn addition that he was adding on to his body shop. There was some excess concrete that was poured outside of that barn addition.
Fresh concrete?
Yeah, it was fresh concrete. It was excess after he poured the posts. It was left on the concrete truck is what he told us. And we brought in a backhoe and dug that whole area. We did not locate anything.
Detectives say they did, however, find gifts that Patti reportedly gave him.
What kind of gifts are we talking about?
A Harley-Davidson phone. She had purchased while she was on vacation. We also found a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt. His wife at the time had stated that she had no idea where this Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt came from.
Patti's sister Janine told investigators she witnessed Patti buying that t-shirt at the Hard Rock Cafe in Miami. But what detectives didn't find, any evidence that the estimated $90,000 Patti pulled out of the bank ended up in the boyfriend's account.
We had a forensic accountant go through his accounts and no money was found. For what, a year and a half, he was taking this money from her. It might have been at the beginning where, you know what, he wanted to be with her. Then after time, he decided that he wanted to stay with his wife, and now what am I going to do? I've got all this money, am I going to pay her back, or am I going to get rid of her? That's the question that we have.
And Marcia claims Patti gave her secret boyfriend a hard deadline to pay up.
She had told him, you know, in July you have to start paying back part of this. You have to start putting back the money back in because she had taken some of it from her 401k. So she didn't want to get the penalty on that.
What could be the possible motive if money's involved?
If she began to seek to get the money back, it could lead to issues in his marriage, it could lead to other issues, and would provide a motive.
Investigators put Patti's lover on the polygraph and asked about their alleged relationship.
He did show deception in the polygraph.
Would you say he failed the polygraph?
I would tell you that he was deceptive in the polygraph.
And what's his story? What's his statement?
That he had no relationship with her whatsoever,
He barely knew her.
other than as an associate at Honda, another associate.
The boyfriend told cops he clocked out from the Honda plant at midnight and got home at 2:30 in the morning. He claims he and his rideshare buddy stopped at Burger King and were in line for 45 minutes.
We spoke to the manager at Burger King. He stated that $18 worth of business was done from midnight until 1:30 in the morning. He stated the longest that somebody would have had to wait in line was 10 to 15 minutes.
But both men said that story, right?
Both men gave that story of 45 minutes.
If he left work at midnight but didn't get home until 2:30 in the morning, what was he doing all that time?
That's a good question. So he would have had ample time to get rid of Patti.
But again, there is no hard evidence that ties the boyfriend to Patti's disappearance.
For me, I think just being able to find her, to have a proper service for her or whatever would be the best, and also getting answers from him would help me the most, I think.
What do you need answered?
Just why? At this point, I think I would also ask how he was able to go so long. Like, it's withholding details.
So to help McKaylee answer those questions, I drove through the flat farmland of Ohio looking for the man investigators say is the person of interest. Because authorities won't publicly name him, neither will Crime Watch Daily.
So this is the house where the person of interest lives, the person who we believe last saw Patti alive. We just saw him go into the garage, so I'm gonna knock and see what he has to say.
What's up?
Anna Garcia from Crime Watch Daily. We want to talk to you about Patti. What happened to
I
Patti?
was told not to discuss any of this. You need to talk to my lawyer.
But what can you tell us? You're the
I
last...
can't tell you nothing, I'm sorry.
But you're the last one to have seen her alive. Tried to get some answers. He really didn't say much more to us than he did to police or to the family of Patti.
We called his lawyer for a comment, but he never got back to us. Remember, he's never been named a suspect, and he's never been charged in connection with Patti's disappearance. The fact that Patti has never been found and may never be found continues to weigh heavily on this close-knit family.
It's really easy to talk about the case and things like that, but when you want me to talk about my sister and McKaylee, that's hard. I'm so proud of her. But I feel for her because she doesn't have her mom here.
Not having a mother, anyone can imagine, it's not an easy process. I can only thank my family and the support system that I've had from being young to now, to being where I am now and helping me become successful or where I am at this point in my life. I have a box full of pictures that she took, whether it was when we were on vacation or like her childhood or my childhood, that I'll bust out that quite frequently to look through it.
It was hard for you to sit down and talk with us.
Yes. Just all of these unanswered questions, it makes it very difficult to find closure. My mom died at 29 years old. I'm 23 right now, and I can't imagine. I just know to not take life for granted.
You're just an amazing young woman.
Thank you.
I'm glad you handled this better than I did.
It's very hard.
To understand this case, we brought in former chief prosecutor and defense attorney Bob Bianchi to break this down. What's going to be the key for prosecutors to nail down the person of interest after all this time?
I think shows like this, Chris, a lot of times witnesses don't come forward because they believe somebody else will do it. Some are scared. If they can be properly motivated, that's one thing. The second thing is I would have that evidence, that blood evidence in particular, reevaluated. I would have a new set of eyes, because I've seen this happen a lot of times. You get pigeonholed, and sometimes you get too focused. So a new set of eyes looking at the case can come up with potentially a different theory of the case. Or a piece of evidence that was overlooked before. That's about it right now, because prosecuting a 15-year-old homicide without a body, tough business.
Patti's reported boyfriend was interviewed by police and denied even knowing her. What does that do to the case?
A good homicide detective and a good homicide prosecutor know one thing. Sometimes people lie to cover up something else, not necessarily the murder. I've seen it happen in cases that I've done where they try to cover up gambling debts or drug-related activity, or try to cover for their wives, not knowing that they were having an extramarital affair. So lying certainly puts me in the red in terms of I don't believe the person, but I have to wonder if there's another motive they're trying to cover up.
Even if there was probable cause to make an arrest, How difficult is this?
Okay, well, now you're going to get into the Bob Bianchi philosophy of prosecution.
Exactly.
And what I would always do with my staff, or even when I was a homicide prosecutor, is if I believe the person did it and I believe that I had probable cause and I didn't think I had really strong evidence, go to trial, at least give the jury an opportunity
Try to
view
find
it.
some justice.
Try to find some justice. And even if it's a not guilty, then at least we fought the good fight.
Bob Bianchi, thank you as always for being here with us on this case. If you have any information on Patti Adkins' disappearance, you're urged to call the Union County Sheriff's Office at 1-937-645-4110. Or you can submit a tip anonymously on our website, crimewatchdaily.com. I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.